Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Screen Scene Guru, and today I'll be discussing my movie review for Anaconda. This was the remake of the classic 1997, I believe, film, which I was kind of curious to begin with how they would go about remaking this film. I don't think anyone really thought of this, except for maybe Jack Black and the studio, which I believe it was, let's see, Sony. Sony released this. So really cool stuff here. Grab my water. And I got a really cool Scream jersey, which is fun, from Walmart. Walmart's got a really lot of cool deals going on right now. So if you guys haven't checked those out, I recommend those. But going into my Anaconda movie review, spoiler review, because I've done an out-of-theater short clip, if you guys have seen that on my channel. And I thought the movie was great. If you guys have seen other comedies of Jack Black's, like, for instance, Tropic Thunder, I liken this to Tropic Thunder. Very good watch. It isn't as raunchy as Tropic Thunder, which is good. It's more family friendly, of course. So going into the IMDb real quick, we've got a group of friends are going through midlife crisis as they decide to remake their favorite movie from their youth, but encounter unexpected events when they enter the jungle. So obviously we open up with the jungles of South America, Brazil. So really cool. We get to see the actress, the Ratcatcher 2, because technically the first one was what's his name, Taika Waititi, who did Thor Love and Thunder, and of course he did Thor Ragnarok as well. Also Star Wars, worked on Star Wars stuff. But the second Ratcatcher 2, his daughter from the Suicide Squad, that actress is in this. Very good role. We didn't really know what she was doing in a lot of the film until very end, the third act. We find out she's part of this gold mining cartel that's really bad in South America, apparently. So really cool that that's explained. We get to see the actors, in the main film. Paul Rudd, Jack Black, that's what the story's about. And their friends, their childhood friends growing up. So it's a jungle adventure. It starts off with Paul Rudd kind of lying to his friends, saying he acquired the rights to Anaconda, so let's go shoot this film. It's something we've always wanted to do. And Jack Black character is a wedding filmographer, so he's kind of always been into cinema, but he's never quite got out of his own bubble. So it's really cool to see this team, this group, go down to the jungle. It's got some other side cast. Let me go into the cast real quick. So yeah, Deanna Melchior is the woman who guides their boat down the river. She later turns on them, is after the gold. We've also got, let's see, Thaddeus Nuxon, which you guys might recognize her from Riddick. The second Riddick, she was with Carl Urban's character. Very good role. She returned for acting to this movie, because I don't think she's been in things for years. Paul Rudd, of course, is great in everything he's in. Jack Black's awesome. Steven Zahn is really funny. He was actually in a show on Hulu with what's his name, Glenn Powell, called Chad Powers. So if you guys haven't seen that show yet, I highly recommend it because it's really funny. Ice Cube made a cameo in the movie, which I didn't know if any of the original cast members would make an appearance, and J-Lo even shows up at the very end. So very cool cameos that they did for the movie. And yeah, it was just really sweet story. They talk about how when they were all kids, they starred in a film that Jack Black's character made about the Sasquatch. And then they have to go on the river and get a riverboat guide and a snake expert who's like really loopy. And he's not as bad as John Voight. John Voight was like creepy, pervish, where this guy's just like mentally ill. He's kind of just a little off. and they like him. Unfortunately, he ends up getting eaten by the big anaconda. So, another thing I want to say, the graphics, the animation for the creature feature effects, pretty good. Sony put a lot of money into this. This is very much like The Meg with Jason Statham. If you guys are into those movies, you would love Anaconda. So check it out once it hits digital. I think it's on digital now. Not sure. But yeah, I had a really great time with it. I thought it had a really good climax ending. Fantastic storytelling. I do want to go into some movie notes real quick, and then I'll go into my physical media haul because I've got some discs to show off, guys, finally. So let's go into it with our first couple of movie notes. So it makes sense that Fast and the Furious is going to happen, Fast Forever. I talked about that in my last newsletter, last video. If you guys are following the channel, Vin Diesel came out on social media and talked about how Fast Forever is happening. I believe it's in 2028. So very interesting stuff there. It's been 5 years, or it's going to be 5 years, since the last one, 10. And 10 left people a lot of people unsatisfied. So I'm wondering, what are they going to do to bring back the story and the cast? We've got, it's a legacy that lasts 12 to 13 films, because I talked about, it had Hurricane Heist, which isn't really a Fast and the Furious movie, just set in the Fast and the Furious universe, I guess. But they've also got Hobbs and Shaw, which is The Rock and Jason Statham. That's a pretty good film. Too bad we probably won't see Hobbs or Shaw in the Fast universe again. I also talk about in my last week's video, or a few days ago, whatever it was, the controversies behind the Fast and Furious franchise. We got Gal Gadot, not really doing too hot right now, even though they brought her back. Due to the Israel-Palestine controversies, it's the same issue with Snow White. Could possibly happen with this Fast 11. We don't know. Stranger Things, Tales of 85, releases in April 23rd. I talked about that in my last week's newsletter. Frozen 3 has officially started production. So they've started recording for voices. And Josh Gad was seen on an Instagram post very happily, showing off that he started work again. They put him in Wonder Man. They put him in a couple of different projects recently. Good for Josh Gad. Quantum physics. Yeah, a lot of people are bringing up quantum physics now. It's trending due to people studying it more, and it's bringing up the questions of religion and some other things. Are they, maybe thought of as old, archaic methods due to the understanding of quantum physics? Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, Episode 2 dropped. Pretty fantastic stuff going into it. Much smaller scale, much smaller story. For those of you that are watching, that's why I have my Knights hat on. Show off a little braid in the back. But really cool stuff going on there. I heard that there's supposed to be like a joke about the old knight that raises Sir Dunk having a big dong. And I guess they show it off in a sequence. Kind of how the parody of the first episode opening with the sound of Westeros and then Dunk taking a big dump. Just kind of funny, setting up the tone of the show. A little bit more comedy instead of like seriousness. Return of the Maltese Falcon, maybe getting a third book from Max Allan Collins. That dropped exclusively a newsletter from Robert Meyer Burnett at the Burnett Work. You guys should be following him if you're imagination connoisseurs. Apple TV is releasing a Matchbox movie with John Cena and a lot of other people too. It's got a full cast of people you wouldn't expect from Apple. So Apple's going full out on October 9th, Matchbox. Singapore is reportedly opening their own space agency that's going to be active to the public starting in April. So really cool news from Singapore. They're coming out, they're representing people. They want to tell us what's out there in the sky, in space, where NASA and other agencies have become very secretive spy agencies where they won't tell the public what's going on. Paramount is set to format itself to a TikTok Project Eagle. So apparently they're going to start letting people use user-generated content, UGCs, which I wonder if that will work, because Disney's talking about using this content as basically their own animated characters they own, but they're going to let Disney Plus people that have a subscription make content with the AI, and then Disney owns it, and they can put it anywhere. This sounds a little bit more of a realistic goal, achievable goal. Have influencers on your streaming service make your streaming service popular. Have, people like Joe Rogan could make a TikTok and say, go on Paramount Plus and watch Mobland or watch Mayor Kingstown. And I guarantee you, the next day, there would be 1 million people subscribed to the channel. So it's very smart of them to do this. Some people are calling it out, saying it's cheap or it's, something. But it's very smart. It's innovative. So do it. New Disney CEO chosen by Bob Iger. That was reported in the news last couple days. He was seen walking the parks with Bob Iger. They were discussing, films and what they're going to do in the next 5 years, competing with Netflix and other streaming services. They want to be a big contender, so they got to build up their IPs. We know that Zootopia 2 just knocked out a lot of the other films in competition. We've got Avatar: Fire and Ash still gunning for $2 billion. I still haven't seen it. I need to go out and see it. DC Comics celebrating 90 years, guys. 90. They've turned 90, okay? There are AMC popcorn buckets, potentially, at your local AMC. In the Tri-Cities where I live, the Valley, there's nothing going on. We get like 9 buckets sent to our local AMC. And when I go in to check, they're all gone. So I don't know if they'll even have them. But AMC is releasing the 90th anniversary 6 exclusive DC comic books. And they're the book buckets, too. They're like the ones they advertised during Beetlejuice. You open them up, you put your popcorn in it. They got classic comic book covers. $21 a piece. What the hell? Okay, going on. They celebrate wonder of G-types of books, inspired styles. The graphics on the cover of the buckets were, G-style, which I don't know what that's supposed to be in comics language. But $21 a piece, that's a pretty good deal. Mike Flanagan's Exorcist. The cast includes Scarlett Johansson, Ejiofor. I always have trouble pronouncing his name, but he is Mordo from Doctor Strange. And he was also in Venom 3. So that makes any sense. Ejiofor, Diane Lane, Jacoby Julep, which is a child actor. And then, of course, Martin Fishburne, which I'm like, oh, okay. Or is it Lawrence Fishburne? Yeah, it's Lawrence Fishburne. Okay. Morpheus, right? He's joined the cast, which a lot of people are speculating he could be the priest. Maybe, exorcising some demons. Like I said, Apple TV, they've been putting out a whole lot of shows, or at least trailers for shows coming out this year. They had like a big Apple presentation, which wasn't like one of their typical shows that like show off a new product, like an Apple phone or like a smartwatch. It was a presentation about content, like actual films and movies they're making, and it looked amazing. A24 has secured the rights to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and apparently they got both the TV rights and the film rights. So of course they're moving forward doing a TV show first. They've already got a movie planned. And like I said, frickin' what's his name? Hold on. Glenn Powell is attached, producing, and maybe starring. We're not sure. We've got to find out. Probably in the next couple weeks. Season 4 of From is happening in April 19th, so right before my birthday, guys. Getting Season 4 of From, which I haven't watched it, but I've heard really good things. I believe it's on the MGM app, which not a lot of people have MGM, and MGM is owned by Amazon, so I don't even know why they have a streaming service. More military footage of craft have been seen. Syria footage have been released of objects flying in the sky. This is captured by drone footage going Mach 10. So it's hard for us to even break the sound barrier after Mach 9, Mach 10. These craft apparently were spotted seeing easily going Mach 10, and then after what appears to be the craft recognizes it's being surveyed, it launches into what I can only call warp speed. It takes off out of the frame. They even slow down the video second per second, and at 3 seconds per frame, it warps out of there like nothing. So these things basically don't care about time, space. They're just zooping around doing shit. Going on, we've got Ryan Reynolds claims Deadpool 4 is actually still happening. So we don't know what the story is yet, why they would bring back Deadpool after Deadpool Wolverine. I mean, it was a really good send-off, if you will. And then Josh D'Armor is set to be the new CEO to take over from Bob Iger. Bob Iger isn't stepping down, not till like the end of 2026. So this year, we've still got a full year of Bob Iger. He has to groom and kind of teach this Josh D'Amaro, who has been at Disney for years. He's been working with them for like 20 plus years, since the MCU started, since they've gotten into Star Wars content. So he's well trusted. That's why they're making him the guy. Then, of course, Area 52. I want to talk about a whistleblower who's come forward talking about gray beings taking him for an examination, and where the grays had more human features. Apparently one of them had a blue human eye, and this eye has been seen. I want to talk about the poster for Disclosure Day, the new Spielberg movie. You see a weird avian weird eye on the first poster that was in New York City. Maybe that's telling us something. The experiencers have shared memory, or they've all experienced the same thing. And then, of course, Dave Pilatus has come forward. He wrote the Missing 411 books. He was a former police officer. He searched for missing people across our national parks for well over a decade now. He has several books. I believe he's working on his 7th or 8th book. And he was on recently with Ross Coulthart, Australian journalist, on News Nation, and they talked about NASA, files from NASA discussing portals and potentially sending soldiers through these portals to find out where they led. And that was very revealing, because that could explain where people have been going missing for years. So going on, Doctor Doom, Steve Rogers, and the F4 team, the Fantastic Four, supposedly will arrive together in Avengers Doomsday. A lot of people have been speculating the Thunderbolts in credit scene with the F4 ship arriving. It's clearly a different ship than we see in the actual Fantastic Four movie. This looks more like the Ark, an Ark craft. And potentially, we're hearing rumor that not only Doctor Doom, Steve Rogers, from totally different universes, supposedly. Well, I guess we didn't see Doom that much in Fantastic Four. Apparently he's from their universe. But apparently Loki took Steve Rogers and put him in the F4 universe, because TVA agents were pruning Captain America's universe for some reason. And to save Cap's family, Loki had to switch him up, put him in a different timeline. Very interesting. Empire Magazine, this week's cover was Masters of the Universe. Very interesting stuff. I'm wondering if they'll have it in my local Barnes & Noble. I'm going to be checking it out to see what they have in stock. There's a rumor that the week following, so next week's issue, is going to be covering Avengers Doomsday. So that'd be a really cool double magazine issue to check out. They are like $30 if you guys aren't subscribed to the newsletter. The actual official newsletter, Empire Magazine, you can get a discount on over there. But if you just buy them in the store, they're like $25-$30 now, which is ridiculous because they used to be like $9. Well, not really. They used to be like $15, but now they're like $30. And then, yeah, Lawrence Fishburne, I talked about. I think I fucked his name up. Sorry, guys. So sorry. Lawrence Fishburne in Exorcist. It's Mike Flanagan's Exorcist, because they want to really specifically go after that, Mike Flanagan's, because they're working on another Exorcist film, which I believe is The Haunting at Pen 1600, which, if you guys know the address of the White House, there's supposed to be a script being developed from a comic book that's already out, where the first female president is possessed in the White House, and it's like a battle between good and evil and ridiculous shit. They're doing that up as a movie at Blumhouse. Spielberg is doing a dinosaurs Netflix film on March 6th. So that looks really good. A bit better than what we got for Jurassic World Rebirth. So interesting that Spielberg's just dumping this on Netflix. Predator Badlands hits Hulu on February 12th. So just like Prey, they're dropping this on Hulu after a theatrical release, which Dan Trachtenberg, I have some news on him later. Lionsgate hosted a 3K run for fans of The Strangers Part 3, Chapter 3, where fans ran from people dressed as the Strangers. Very interesting. Would you have done this? I would have. I need to lose some weight, and I can't think of anything better than to have ran from some strangers. Going on from there, we've got a new story breaking about Ke Huy Quan. Apparently was a fight choreographer on the very first X-Men in 2001. Very interesting news. No, I never heard about this story, and this just dropped on the internet a few days ago. So I thought I'd talk about it. Universal is making a Fast and the Furious Hollywood Drift ride, which is awesome. It looks amazing. I'm subscribed to Universal and all their new upcoming rides that they have, promoting, advertising. It makes me wonder, when has this ride been? I mean, we were supposed to be getting a ride back in, I think, 2018 when we had Furious 7. Furious 7, I think, was the last time that Universal advertised they're making a ride for Fast and Furious, and that ride ended up never happening. So it's kind of curious that they're going on and making this Furious Drift, or Hollywood Drift, of course. Pretty Lethal premieres at SXSW, so that was a pretty cool film con. Pretty Lethal is about 6 ballerinas who are trapped in a house full of horrors. They have to fight to survive, and it seems like the main protagonist, or the main villain, is Uma Thurman from Kill Bill, other infamous things. So really cool. I'll check this out when it drops. It looks like it's going to be on Prime March 25th. So Pretty Lethal. Then going into our last couple of movie notes, guys, stick with me. Eric Davis claims the phenomenon has a hostile or malevolent intent, which I think that might be a government ploy to try to get people to think, oh my gosh, it's so scary, it's gunning for me, it's after me. Where we know Jacques Vallée said that the phenomenon mirrors. So it basically, if you're afraid, it's going to scare you more. If you're not, it's going to show you something you haven't experienced before. So these things are trying to get us to break through this barrier of fear. It's very much like Dune. Fear is the mind killer. So that's very interesting. I like Eric Davis. I think he's alright for someone coming out for this Disclosure Act. I just kind of hope that he's not a plant. Going on, we've got Engaging the Phenomenon. So there's recently the Epstein files. The 3 million files were released by the Department of Justice, which, if you ask me, they're not doing their job because they promise to keep people's identities secret, to keep their anonymity, give them respect, and they just outed them. They just blatantly put their files out on the internet, and so people are pissed, of course, and now they've come to the realization that Epstein was very fascinated with NASA, with people studying space. He was also apparently involved in many secret societies. He was trying to attach himself to the last great secret societies still running, still functioning. Apparently one of these was called Project Zodiac, and they basically ran off your astrological sign. Sorry. And apparently Epstein found out about this, and he knew of members that were in the cult, or in the group. It was primarily about exclusive dinners at locations around the world, very old personnel that were in these cults. They discussed real magic and how to use it. Basically, it was like Freemasonry, that moved on to the Illuminati, that moved on to Project Zodiac, and a few others that Epstein was trying to get his hands into. So very fascinating. This is coming out from our Department of Justice. And if you ask me, this is almost like Masonic shaming that some of these cults practice by releasing these files. So, not good. Going on, Nancy Guthrie, her mom, Havana Guthrie's mom, Nancy Guthrie, was abducted from her home in, I want to say it's like Arizona, someplace. It's been like 5-6 days since they've heard anything. I mean, they apparently had a ransom letter sent into the news, and they talked about negotiating, then they haven't heard anything. They brought out the son to try to push for more aggressive tactics. I think the law enforcement may have asked him to push the kidnappers for more of an aggressive conversation. We haven't heard anything on her conditions or what's happening, so it's very concerning. Like I said, Dan Trachtenberg, he's been working with FX Hulu for like 4 years or something like that on Predator, trying to reboot the franchise since Prey, and he's been doing a fantastic job. Well, apparently he's been doing too well of a job. Now that Paramount, which he originally worked at Paramount, so it makes sense that they want to get him back, he signed a 4-year deal with Paramount to be making original films for them. I don't know if this is going to conflict or mess with the lineup of Predator projects we have. I know there's still one Predator project coming, untitled. I believe it's going to be similar to Badlands in the way it's just like a side story by itself. Not sure if it's going to connect to the Alien franchise, like a lot of people are anticipating the AVP, Alien vs. Predator franchise, to do so well. It didn't, guys. It didn't do well at all. So I don't know why they would build back to that. It was fun, it was nice, but they were not financially successful movies. But I guess they could try it again, and it could be a Godzilla Kong. It could be very well if they do it right. Follow the Dark Horse comics. If you guys read the comics, there are fantastic stories there that they have never even touched. So going on, we heard that Thor will have a much major tone shift for this Avengers Doomsday, and potentially Secret Wars too. They don't want to make him a comedic character anymore. They want to make him very serious, so that goat boat you see back there, it's probably not going to show up in Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars. Unfortunately, I would love to see the goat boat, but they just want to go away from that comedy stuff. Sam Raimi claims that there are no plans for a Spider-Man 4. This is on the red carpet of Send Help. He was told that he had too much studio interference from Sony. They fought him constantly, and that he just has no plans to do another Spider-Man movie. He is happy that the franchise has moved on with different people. Apparently, he said that it's in good hands with Tom Holland and the people producing these films. So, interesting news from Sam Raimi. Box office news, we heard that Mercy has officially cracked $200 million. So good on Chris Pratt. Avatar Fire and Ash has also cracked the $200 million range. So very good for Avatar 3. It's having a bit of a struggle to gain the money that a lot of people thought it would. It's still playing in theaters. It's been months. I mean, it kind of came out around the same time as Anaconda. So December of 2025, and we're just now getting into February of 2026. First teaser for Masters of the Universe. Talked about it in my last week's newsletter. You guys can check out that from the thumbnail. And then last bit of news real quick. We've got the Masters of the Universe trailer had mixed reviews, of course. I think it's because it's a teaser trailer. That was test footage that we got to see, not the final product. The final product they're waiting to put in the theater on the big screen, which some people are pissed about. I get it. I understand. Isabella Merced has recently been cast in Sega's The House of the Dead adaptation. So very interesting. They're going back to these niche video game titles to make into films because that's the big rave right now. Clayface has been pushed back. I don't remember when it was originally supposed to come out, but now it's been pushed to October 23rd, 2026. So will Clayface suffer the same problems as Morbius and other films that were iconically, they had a summer release, I think, and then they pushed them back to December, October. Interesting. Anthony Anderson has been confirmed to play Malachi in Scary Movie 6 in June 12th, 2026. Very happy to hear that. Netflix is officially making a live-action Assassin's Creed. Now, I reported on this in my newsletter months ago. I'm talking about it again, of course, because they want the clout or the franchise success, if you will, to say Netflix has done Assassin's Creed. They want to put the big N, the red N, and then the logo of the Assassin's Creed on the side of it. They want that, guys. They've gunned for that ever since they made The Witcher. When they made The Witcher, they basically were gunning for, we're going to do every video game live action we can. They're competing with Prime right now, because Prime is just killing it with Fallout, and then they're doing God of War. So, really awesome stuff. Ryan Reynolds is apparently selling shares of F1 to people that are willing to buy them from him. We know he was infamously attached to the Welcome to Wrexham football team. And they were obscure, smaller football team. But then once Ryan Reynolds, and I believe it was one of the guys from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, who, I don't know who that was. But once these two celebrities gained popularity, put money, they just threw a lot of money into football. And then this team became a number one team in the sport when it was a very lackluster, smaller team. So apparently now Ryan Reynolds is doing the scheme of putting F1 on his top priority, selling shares, which I didn't know you could sell shares of F1, but that's really cool. I mean, I guess different companies have different sponsorships and whatever. But yeah, really cool stuff there. Going into my physical media real quick, guys, this is going to be an unboxing review. So be sure to leave a like, comment down below what you think, share the video if you want. If you haven't subscribed already, I'm only at 86 subscribers. I'm trying to crack 100. Be very thankful if you guys do that. Recommend me to your friends if you love physical media. So starting off with our first title, I just want to go into this because it's a movie that came out in 2025 that I didn't get a chance to get around to watching. And I picked up Ballerina just because I was like, gotta see where the John Wick franchise goes. I have all 4 of the John Wick movies. I've watched all 4 of them. It took me a while to catch up on 4, but I thought it was really good. So this is, of course, the slipcover, which I might keep. I don't usually keep the cardboard slipcover, but this is shiny, a nice reflective cover, so I'll keep that. Let's see, my pen out real quick. Just poke this. Take off the plastic wrap real quick. Sometimes they make it like stick to the actual case. And other times it just comes right off, very easy. But sometimes, yeah, like the spine of it, that's like the worst, because it's like sticking to the spine. But once the plastic's off, it looks pretty good. So this is the back. Anna Taylor, or not Anna Taylor, sorry, what is her name? DeArmas, Anna DeArmas, yeah. So I wanted to say Anna Taylor-Joy, but that wasn't right. Open up the case. Ooh, very nice disc with the Ballerina. You get the digital code, and you get the disc. I believe it also has a gun. So yeah, you get a DVD and a Blu-ray. I didn't realize it was double disc set. But that's pretty fun because I'll probably give the DVD away to someone that wants it. So that's really cool. And I'll just add the ballerina to my collection. Super fun. And I kind of wish it had reversible cover, art cover, like Dieter says, if you watch Let's Get Physical Media. But unfortunately, you know, Lionsgate, they're like, oh, you're lucky to get one cover. But this is a nice art cover. You got Lance Riddick on there. Real nice they put him on the cover. He did pass when John Wick 4 came out. So it's nice to see him. And it has special features. It's got the making a ballerina, building a frozen underworld, the art of action, deleted and extended scenes, and the theatrical trailer. So really good stuff here from Ballerina, or from the world of Ballerina. John Wick, Ballerina. Very interesting title. I think this kind of threw the movie. A lot of people, because originally, I mean, Ballerina was just a great title. But then they said, from the world of John Wick. It's like, come on. They don't need to put that in there. But they did. So, interesting stuff there. Got the spine, got the all the stuff. Okay. So, this next title was another highly anticipated from me, from my household. We're big Taylor Sheridan fans here. We have been for years. One of the main reasons I got Paramount Plus was not only to get through Star Trek stuff, but to get through Taylor Sheridan stuff. And unfortunately, he pulled a Twisted Sister move, I'd like to say, or a Sister Abigail, flipped us on our head. When Season 5 of Yellowstone was coming out, he promised it would all be on Paramount Plus, and then of course they pulled the rug out from under us. I guess this was written into the contract of the show. Once it got popular enough, it would switch networks, which I don't know why they would ever do that. It would kill the ratings of a regular show, but this actually worked pretty good for them, pretty good in their favor. Season 5, Part 2, Yellowstone, was dropped on Peacock instead of Paramount, and it got a very large subscription jump to Peacock, so that's fun for them. I don't have that show, or that streaming service, so I waited till the physical media dropped, so I went out and got Yellowstone Season 5 Part 2, and I'm really happy to see it comes with art cards, so they did go out and they gave the fans something they've craved for, they yearned ever since the show started, was give us some swag. I mean, come on, how hard is it to fill a box set? There is a box set with all of the seasons in it now, I believe. I hope they put Season 5 in there, but there was at least a box set that had the first 4 seasons attached. And somebody complained, no art cards, no, like, keychains, lanyards, nothing. Which was kind of sad. So this is how it looks. It's got the little package on the front called Yellowstone, and then it's got, you know, details on the back. I'm about to open this right now as a live unboxing. Just use my pen, handy pen, to cut a hole in this package real quick, and let's see what this is. Take off all the wrappings. Okay. This has a little tape on it, just okay. It's got a little letter, or a little. I'll take the little tape off the cover. This is what the cover looks like. Very emotional, very kind of ending of the season. You know, putting people in the ground, Yellowstone. Taking them to the train station, Yellowstone. Oh, this one does have reversible art cover, which is awesome. So we get to see Jesse and his sister. Oh, and then we get to see the other discs as well. Let me flip this real quick and see if we get much of a... Oh, it just goes into the episodes. Okay, so yeah, like I said, it was a much shorter season. I'm flipping the art cover real quick just to kind of show you. If I can get it like properly aligned. The thing with these, you gotta get it straight, just straight right in there. Sometimes it gets stuck. There you go. It's going. episode list, which is nice. And then them on the back, just sweet. But yeah, cool. Disc 1 has Desire is All You Need, The Apocalypse of Change, 353, and then Disc 2 has Counting Coup, Give the World Away, Life is a Promise. And then Disc 3 is just special features. Redemption, A Series of Change, Moments in Time with the photographer Emerson Miller, The Heartbeat of Yellowstone, Chief Joseph Ranch, Stories from the Bunkhouse. So really cool that Disc 3 was all special features. So yeah, like I said, really short season. Flip the art cover back real quick just to give it back the original. But sometimes I like to do that with shows, flip the art covers and just show what they got. Did look like they have a pretty nice plastic case for the show too, with like a star on it, like a Texas star kind of thing for Yellowstone, which is, I mean, it's in Montana, so it's interesting to put a little star inside the box. But yeah, really cool final season to the original show. I know they are doing spin-offs. They're about to premiere this Marshall's show, which is why I wanted to catch up. And of course, what's after Marshall's? Gosh, I talked about in my newsletter. There's a family name that's coming to Montana called like something, I can't remember. It's got Kurt Russell, a bunch of other people in it. But yeah, very fascinating. The Madisons is coming. So definitely gonna check that out. Be sure to like the channel, comment down below what you thought, subscribe if you haven't already, guys. It helps me out a lot. Lets me know you guys are supporting the channel. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, @SceneScreenGuru, Facebook if you want. I will message you back. Be sure to contact me there. But have a good one, guys, and stay safe. Ciao.